Notes on currently scheduled Olympic Games hosts as of Monday, 22 April 2024. So I'm filming this Monday, 22 April 2024. I'm Tanis Leonhardi, Chief Editors of Seattle, and I made a playlist on this channel, my Olympic Games coverage, and I was like, I've talked about picks for games that are not scheduled. Maybe I should make notes on the ones that are scheduled and have not happened yet. So there's 4 of those. So I'm going to go through general notes / perspective on the hosts for currently scheduled, as of when this video was filmed on Monday, 22 April 2024, editions of the Olympic Games. So that includes 2024 summer, 2026 winter, 2028 summer, and 2032 summer. These scheduled editions are to follow the most recent previous edition. So the most recent previous edition was 2022 Winter Olympic Games in Beijing, China. Okay. So let's jump into it. So 2024 Summer Olympic Games, Paris, France. My sister is very happy about this. My sister lived in France for a few months and went to cooking school there and stuff. She loves altering things French, so I'm viewing this edition of the Olympic Games is entirely about my sister. To date, none of the places I have wanted the Olympic Games to be held have held the Olympic Games in my lifetime. So this is, I think, a perfect example of the Olympic Games pleasing my sister and people like my sister. I think it was chosen because people like my sister were like, yes, and those were the people voting, kind of thing. So good for my sister. So there's that one. Then the 2026 Winter Olympic Games is a split host city, as in, okay, that's not 2 host cities. So there's the city of Milan and the city of Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy. And so if I'm recalling correctly, Milan is supposed to be like all the people, opening and closing ceremonies, and then a lot of the competition is actually in Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy. And so there we go. It's interesting to have multiple host cities. Didn't they change the rules so they can be hosted in multiple places, in part because of this competition? Because they've realized afterwards, oops, that they're actually different cities. It is not scheduled to be held on my birthday or half birthday. I think the only Winter Olympic Games to be held on my birthday or half birthday, so 26th February, have been in Norway, in my lifetime have been in, so after I was born, was in Norway, Italy, and Vancouver, British Columbia, which is, 2 hours that way, depending on traffic. So there you go. The Olympic Games are in no part defined in terms of me, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. All right, then following that, 2028 Summer Olympic Games, Los Angeles, United States of America. Remember, Spanish is a European language, so who knows, maybe they'll feature some non-native Americans that are like, we're Latino, and we're like, we know, and we want all of you to go back to where you came from, as Native Americans. So that'll, depending on how much people remember that Native Americans are like a very teeny tiny percentage of the demographic in the United States of America, and Americas more generally. We'll see how those games go. I've put out a video in the past on forecasting attendance on the Olympic Games, and at least as of filming this, it's still on this channel and in the My Olympic Games coverage playlist. But YouTube is as temperamental as the tempest and changes like the weather, and an island setting, which means it changes on a dime. So that could be gone before I'm done filming this video. That's just how rash the employees are. Okay, and then 2032 Summer Olympic Games, Brisbane, Australia. Why Brisbane? I don't know. I have not been to Australia. There was somebody I knew, I think he lived in Brisbane at some point in time. He's like, you know what? There's like nothing there. And you know what's going to happen? The Olympic Games are going to put it there. And that was back in like, what, 2017, 2018? Maybe about 2018. And then 2 years later, or 3 years later, it was selected as the host, and I was like, there you go. Just ask the person who's lived in a future host city, and they know. You know what they do? They try to take some place where and this was he was like, they take a place that is actually well known and well respected. They come in and go, you know what, we're going to make it about the Olympic Games and transform the city and say the Olympic Games is the reason Brisbane is great. Nothing great ever existed before the Olympic Games were hosted there. It's like that's what they're going to do to Brisbane. That man spoke a prophecy that came true. They chose Brisbane, Australia. So there we go. Conclusion, it is interesting. There's like, so I read the book I Am Number 8, and the guy in the book, he and his wife were both engaged to other people before they got married. My mom was engaged to a different person before she married my dad. And I know of other instances of that, and it's kind of an interesting thing to watch, like in certain sports where, you know, they publish about a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and it's always the high profile boyfriend kind of thing, and it always 100% of the time goes through to the people getting married. And I'm like, and oh, they have, you know, they're Olympians, right? The men are Olympians. And I'm just like, shows that gold digging culture might not be after true love. I would question when 100% of those go through, they're not soulmates. I'm sorry, that's just reality. They might think they are, but especially if they're certain types of women I know, they're just all focused in on how much money can they make. So it'd be nice if eventually the Olympic Games cared about love and getting the real, the true loves, the soulmates of the competitors, the attention they deserve. Although, what would I say? The takeaway there is the Olympic Games is something that, if I ever get around to writing my autobiography, because it is so much fiction, and my autobiography, I want to be nonfiction, the Olympic Games might not make the cut. It's just too much falsities. Yeah. And especially, like, if somebody sets a world record, and it's the current world record, and it's not displayed on the screen of the race as the race is run, then technically the time being displayed is a lie. It's inaccurate. The world record is, they're lying, right? So then lying on personal life and names of people, people's related to the personal life stuff, and also lying on times. And I'm like, you know what? There is no sporting excellence, and there is no excellence of treatment of people. No moral nor ethical character. But that's just what the Olympic Games are. And again, Olympic is a reference to Mount Olympus in Greece, where the games were inspired by the beauty of the natural landscape and has given nothing back to the natural landscape of planet Earth. So there we go. Those notes, my notes, Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. Notes on currently scheduled Olympic Games hosts as of Monday, 22 April 2024.